friends. Today we will discuss with the first poem of Robert Burns in the syllabus of SYBA. As far as the poetry section is concerned, it is the first poem which is for the third semester of SYBA. A Red Red Rose is written by the great Scottish poet Robert Burns, who is born in 1759 and died at 1796. He was also renowned and national poet of Scotland. He was friendly and lively person. He lived a short span of life but made memorable by writing popular poems. Some of his poems which he has written, these are as that Alud Lang Syne, the Scottish dialect, the Battle of the Shermere, are some of his famous poems. This is the introduction of the poet Robert Burns. But when we think about the poem Red Red Rose, illustrate his liveliness and romantic hue based on the theme of love. It means we can call this poem as a love poem and a romantic poem. The poem reflects youthful vigor of the first fragrance of love. There is no lust and passion, but it is very platonic and spiritual kind of love which Robert Burns has depicted through this poem with the use of vivid, natural and some simple imagery. The poet sings the glory of love, though the images and the comparisons are hyperbolic. The poet succeeds in portraying the intensity of romance. So, this is a love poem. Let me see. He says, or the poet compares or imagine his love as the red rose. Oh, my love, like a red rose that newly sprung in June. As we know, friends, the rose is always a red color. In the modern time, we can have a lot of colors of the rose also. That may be yellow flower, yellow, white and other. But here, the poet has described his love with the color that is red. It means that the red is not the signal of danger, but here is the signal of piousness and brightness and his passions which are very pure. And the rose is blossomed in a June because the June month is the month of a spring when the flower blossom in England. Because when we look at the poem or go into the poem, we should not consider June in India, but we should think about the England and British Commonwealth, where June is the spring, and so his love is as fresh as June. Oh, my love is like a melody. So, melody means when we listen or sing a song, there is a tune, and that tune and the song, when it has some kind of lyrical quality, it turns into the melody. that sweetly plays in a tune. So the music is a very rhythmic, which is very touching. So poet says his love means his beloved, and his interaction, his mutual understanding between the both is very nice one, that is sweetly played in tune, as the music always be in a tune. In a same way, there is no differentiation in the life of a poet with uh, his his beloved. As fair art thou, my bonny lass. He says that she is very fair and her physical fitness is very nice because she is healthy and happy. So deep in love am I. So poet can't imagine himself how deeper and deeper he went into the love of her, because she is internally and physically, spiritually very strong and very enthusiastic, and that is why she is as fresh as rose, and that red rose and all these images which the poet has been using for the vitality, the power and the positive sense of her beloved, of his beloved. And I will love thee still, my dear, till the sea gang dry. And here the poet take the oath, that is, his love is as true as the image which is used very uh, that is hyperbolic. One can say that seas gang dry means it is impossible to dry the sea and ocean, because it has a lot of quantity of water and it will never get dry. It means that his love will never uh, shut down, or there should not be any kind of shattered feelings about his beloved. And I will love thee still, my dear, till the sea gang dry. It is impossible to see get dry. In the same way, his love will never get dry and never shortened. It will remain continuous, and there will not be an end in their mutual understanding and freshness. Till the sea gang dry, my dear, and the rocks melt by the sun. Again, he exaggeratively depicted that the seas never gone dead, but my dear, up to the rocks melt, if the sun is shining very hotly, and it will melt the rocks. When the rocks will melt, what kind of heat that the sun may pour, you can imagine. But yet the poet says the rocks can melt by the heat of the sun, but my love will remain as continuous, as stable and as unmovable and differentiable in my life. I will love thee still, my dear, while the sands of life shall run. So the phrase, the life shall run, that is hourglass and sand clock used in the olden days to measure time with the sand. There was a sand clock, and the clock and watches have been invented later on by the industries. But before that, there were no invention in the technology. At that time, um, there was the clock, and that was the sand clock. So he says, while the sand clock, O life shall run, means he will remains, and fear the will, my only love, and fear the will a while. So, farewell for a time being, and while though shortened from the words though, that is, the though is a short form of though, the spelling that is THOUGH. So, the farewell, I will come again, my love, though it were 1,000 miles. So, whatever it may happen, my love will never get shattered and it will remains everlasting, because my love is pure and I love my beloved as a spiritual platonic love. As one of the great thinker has said, that love is neither physical nor mental, but it is a spiritual phenomenon. In this way, Robert Burns has compared his love with the rock, with the rose, with melodies, and with the deep love as the sea and the sand clock. There are the images which has been used by the poet systematically. So this is what मित्रांनो, रॉबर्ट बर्न या स्कॉटिश असणाऱ्या कवीची ही कविता, आणि याच्यामध्ये कवीने आपल्या प्रेयसीबद्दलच्या आपल्या उदात्त प्रेमाची उंची या ठिकाणी दर्शवलेली आपल्याला दिसते. पहिल्यांदा कवी आपल्या प्रेमाची उपमा लाल लाल असणाऱ्या गुलाबाबरोबर करतात. लाल लाल गुलाब येथे धोका किंवा एखादी भयंकर गोष्टीसाठी लाल रंग नसून पावित्र्य आणि त्यांचा असणारा त्याग दर्शवतो आहे. जून महिन्यामध्ये, आणि हे जून महिन्यामध्ये